Hello everyone, I'm Boone Langston with Beyond the Brick, and I have today an awesome new visual encyclopedia from DK called Absolutely Everything You Need to Know: Stacks of LEGO Facts. This book features 239 pages that are just chock full of pictures and awesome information. There's so much in here that I can't even begin to cover all of it, but the book does feature these great top 5 lists in varying categories all throughout the book. So I'm going to give you my review by giving you 4 lists of my top 5s. First, my top 5 favorite pages in this book. Second, my top 5 things that surprised me as I read this book. Third, my top 5 favorite LEGO sets that I had when I was a kid that are featured in this book. And last, my top 5 favorite LEGO sets that I've built as an adult that are featured in the book. Let's dive in. So here's a look at the cover of Absolutely Everything You Need to Know: Stacks of LEGO Facts. We've got a nice, awesome image of Benny on the front here, a bright, bold LEGO logo, and of course this book is published by DK. In my opinion, the makers of the best visual dictionaries ever produced. Turning to the back here, you can see just some of the kinds of facts that you will find all throughout this book. I love this one. The classic LEGO Space logo is still in use after almost 40 years. Let's get into this thing. So this book has 5 chapters. And I'm just going to start with each chapter and kind of show you the first page of the chapter, tell you a little bit about what the chapter is all about, and then I'll turn to my favorite page of each chapter and tell you a little bit about it. So chapter 1 is Bricks and Pieces, and you can guess that this really is all about the pieces that make up the various types of LEGO toys. My first favorite page is actually this first spread here called Before the Brick. And it goes from the wooden toys and talks a little bit about when LEGO first got into plastic toys. It gives us a top 5 here of the pull-along wooden LEGO toys. My favorite thing on this page is this old LEGO Billund Denmark logo. I absolutely love this logo. I think it would be really cool to have it on a t-shirt or something, so if anyone knows where I can get a shirt with that logo on it, please let me know. Chapter 2 is called Building Worlds, and it's just all about the kinds of immersive experiences you can have building various themes in LEGO. My favorite 2-page spread in the Building Worlds chapter is 46 and 47, called Out of This World, and this is all about the space themes that ran from the late 70s into the 90s. I actually remember when this says here, First Flying Saucer, the Spyrius gigantic spy UFO. I remember when this came out and thinking to myself, wow, this is the first flying saucer, because there had never been a flying saucer in LEGO before. Chapter 3 is titled Cars, Planes, Ships, and Trains, and of course you can see it features exactly that. My favorite 2-page spread in this chapter is page 100 and 101, Bat Vehicles. The Batmobile is just my favorite, and we've got a top 5 here featuring what they're saying are the top 5 Batmobiles. I really did love this number 3 here from the 2015 set Jokerland. This really is one of my favorite LEGO Batmobiles. Chapter 4 features minifigures, monsters, and more. My favorite pages in this chapter are pages 146 and 147 because it shows the entire lineup of the classic space minifigures, as well as the green minifigure that was released in 2014's Exosuit, another photograph of our friend Benny, and one of the minifigs from what was probably my second favorite LEGO space line, Space Police 2. I loved these guys when I was a kid. Chapter 5 is called Beyond the Brick. Hey, how about that? Beyond the Brick. This is a chapter all about from LEGO packaging to LEGO advertising to LEGO video games and movies, and even addresses some of the awesome LEGO things that are happening around the world. I'm tempted to say that my favorite page in this chapter is this big page that says Beyond the Brick, but because this page doesn't have a whole lot of content, I'll show you my second favorite page in this chapter. Page 204 and 205 show some really awesome LEGO locations around the globe, including the LEGO house. Now, Joshua and John recently took a trip to the LEGO house in Denmark, and they have a whole video touring this building. It's really awesome. They released another video showing some of the cool souvenirs that they got on their trip to this place. I can't wait to go there someday. So now let me show you the top 5 things that surprised me most as I read this book. Surprise number 1 was that the skeleton is actually not classified as a minifigure because it doesn't have any of the typical minifigure parts except for the head. It is mostly not minifigure. Therefore, it's classified as a creature figure. The number 2 surprising fact that I found in this book is that the Fabuland characters are the first figures that had individual names and stories. Between 1979 and 1989, more than 40 characters, including Lucy Lamb, Hannah Hippopotamus, Mike Monkey, appeared in almost 100 sets. Number 3 on my top 5 surprise facts were these Duplo dolls. I never knew these existed. These Duplo dolls were about 18 bricks high, and they were released in 2001. My 4th surprising fact comes from page 218. The LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens game features brand new dialogue recorded by the stars of the movie. That means Wookiee cookies is one of the last things Harrison Ford will ever say as Han Solo. I think that is pretty funny. And the number 5 surprise that I read in this book is that LEGO Mindstorms is the best-selling product in the history of the LEGO Group. I had no idea. And that takes us to my top 5 LEGO sets that I had when I was a kid that are featured in absolutely everything you need to know about LEGO. Number 1 on this top 5 list is on page 52 and 53. I actually hoped to find a picture of the Black Seas Barracuda from 1989 in this book. I couldn't find it. That was my favorite set that I had as a child. But I also had the Imperial Stronghold, which came out the same year. And I think I got this for like my birthday 6 months after I got the Black Seas Barracuda for Christmas. Number 2 is on the very next page, and it is the first X-Wing fighter LEGO set that was released in 1999. I actually consider this the first LEGO set that I purchased after a very brief Dark Ages, but I put it on my childhood list because it was the end of junior high or the very beginning of high school, and I still lived at my parents' house. Just a few short years before that, I purchased my last set before my Dark Ages, and it was the Flying Time Vessel from the Time Cruisers theme. This thing is a terrible mismatch of different elements from different themes, but I loved it. I thought it had a tremendous amount of play value, and in a LEGO universe long before a Marty McFly or a Doc Brown minifig would be created, I was really into the idea of these guys traveling through space, time, and LEGO themes. The various space themes through the late 80s and the early 90s were definitely my favorite when I was a kid. So number 4 on my list of favorite sets from my childhood in this book is here on page 126, the Galactic Peacekeeper from Space Police 1. This was one of my first LEGO space sets, and I remember building it over and over and over again. And on the very next page, the number 5 LEGO set from my childhood featured in this book is the Spyrius Robo Guardian here. It's number 3 in the top 5 robotic rides. And finally, my last top 5 list are the top 5 sets featured in this book that I have built as an adult. My number 1 favorite set that I've built as an adult featured in this book is here on page 29, the LEGO Ghostbusters Firehouse. And I want to also mention how cool a page this is. It's got 5 of the largest LEGO sets by part count. Interestingly enough, I think this is actually already out of date, as the new Ultimate Collector's Millennium Falcon has more pieces than the Taj Mahal. Number 2 on my 5 favorite sets built as an adult featured in this book is the pizza van from Lego City. Sure, this thing is a pretty small set, but I think it was instantly iconic and is also the first set to feature individual pizza slices. And though I love the Batmobile, it is not the only TV and movie car that catches my eye, so tied for the number 3 LEGO set that I've built as an adult would be the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo, the Ghostbusters Ecto-1, and the DeLorean Time Machine from Back to the Future. For number 4 on my list of favorite sets I've built as an adult featured in this book, we are back on this awesome space spread on pages 126 and 127 to take a look at the Galaxy Explorer, a large classic spaceship from 1979, one that I always wanted as a kid, but was a little too young to have purchased in its first release. I have picked this up as an adult, and it is one of my favorite sets. Strangely enough, the Galaxy Explorer is mislabeled in this book as the Space Transporter, which was a smaller version of a similar ship from the same line, same year. So they either have the wrong picture here of the Space Transporter or the wrong label for the Galaxy Explorer. Last on my list of sets I've had as an adult in this book is Jango Fett's Slave 1 from 2002. I remember taking this thing to college with me, putting it together, and hanging it from the ceiling in my dorm room. That is certainly a set I wish I still had. So that's absolutely everything you need to know from DK Publishing. You can find out more at www.dk.com. And don't forget to come back to Beyond the Brick every day for awesome new LEGO videos. Thanks for watching.